This is the fifth, and maybe the last in a series of videos on YouTube's TOS policy. It's in response to the YourTube Advocates videos on TOS, and right now this is all I have to say, but as he makes more videos, I might think of other points to raise. Now this video I will be concentrating on Clause 5b and 5c of the Terms of Service. And in these two clauses, it states basically that you may not download videos from YouTube and that you can't copy user comments. Now let me read the clauses here. It says, Clause 5b says, you may access user submissions for your information and personal use solely as intended through the provided functionality of the YouTube website. You shall not copy or download any user submission unless you see a download or similar link displayed by YouTube on the YouTube website for that user submission. And Clause 5c says, user comments are made available to you for your information and personal use solely as intended through the normal functionality of the YouTube website. User comments are made available as is and may not be used, copied, reproduced, distributed, transmitted, broadcast, displayed, sold, licensed, downloaded, or otherwise exploited in any manner not intended by the normal functionality of the YouTube website or otherwise as prohibited under this agreement. First, I want to compliment YouTube. Their phrasing is much more clear in this version of the TOS than it has been in previous versions. I know I've seen countless arguments trying to figure out what the hell they meant in their terms of service as to whether or not you could download videos from YouTube or not. The way they had it phrased before, really it took someone with legal training to really understand it. It was really incredibly confusing. So I want to compliment YouTube on improving the verbiage and making the meaning much more clear. It's now unambiguous what they mean. So they get brownie points for clarity. Now as far as substance goes, that's another thing. Let me point out a few things, a few problems with that. First of all, many people are either unaware of this rule or they ignore it, and they download videos in order to take clips from them and in order to critique this. Now this is particularly important for debates, and the best way to quote someone is to download their videos and actually quote them, and they can't accuse you of putting words in their mouths. This is especially important in being able to expose frauds. So by making this rule, YouTube makes it very difficult to expose frauds on YouTube. Secondly, it is absolutely essential to be able to download videos in order to make mashups. Now, whether you like it or not, mashups are part of the internet culture, and people do it all the time. So I think that this rule is something that people either don't know about or they totally disregard. And the culture is such that this rule would be very hard to enforce. Incidentally, and I think you're going to find this particularly interesting, I want to post a link to a SAW 5 video promotion. Now, you'll find the SAW 5 video, they're one of YouTube's sponsors. In fact, they're one of the most popular sponsors on YouTube. If you go and look at YouTube's sponsorship page, you'll find that they're within the top 20 sponsors of YouTube of all time as far as the number of viewers go. I'll post a link to this in the sidebar. And in particular, I want you to take a look at a SAW 5 video promoting their site. Watch the video. Please watch the video. It's very important. Now, you'll notice two things. First thing you'll notice is that the video has over 3 million views, 3.4 million views actually. So that's quite a lot of views. How did it get that many views? Well, I'll tell you. YouTube sponsored and featured it on the front page for a couple of days. It was one of those video advertisements in the top right hand corner of the front page for a few days. Well, I'm guessing it was about 4 or 5 months ago now. I'm not sure exactly when, but but I did indeed see it, and I thought it was odd. What really struck me as kind of odd is this. Watch the video and you will see that the video encourages people to make mashups. It asks people to visit their page and make mashups. Well, the only way you can make a mashup is if you download a video. In other words, YouTube featured a video by their sponsor in which their sponsor urged all of us to break YouTube's terms of service. That shows how prevalent mashups are in society. And now YouTube wants to put up a terms of service in which essentially they say go to hell as far as your mashups go. This is insane. Now I also might point out there are a couple of other reasons why people may want to download videos or make copies of comments posted on videos. First of all, although it's against YouTube's terms of service, harassment is against YouTube's terms of service, we all know harassment is going to take place. We all know that death threats take place on YouTube. They may not like it, but it happens. And you know, if you want to keep a copy of this information for further use, you may want to send it on to the district attorney or to the FBI or what have you. You have to make a copy. You have to download the video or make a copy of the comment. In other words, in order to keep a copy for posterity, in order to keep a copy to send on to other people, you have to have a copy on your computer. It's not enough to send a link to the offending video because YouTube might suspend the video. They might suspend the account before anyone in authority has had a chance to see it. So that's one reason why it's absolutely essential to be able to make copies of a video. Another reason, suppose you're threatened with a bullshit lawsuit. Actually, this is not just a hypothetical. There was a user here before he was suspended named Inmendhim, and he actually sued, I think it was about 5 people on YouTube for copyright infringement and libel against him through basically it was a bullshit lawsuit. It was basically bullshit. It wouldn't have gotten anywhere, and in fact the lawsuit was dismissed. Now, Inmendhim says that he is going to appeal it. He may file it in another court, but the lawsuit was dismissed. I can't say I'm particularly enamored on the grounds on which it was dismissed, but it was a bullshit lawsuit. Trouble is, if you're a defendant, it's a real good idea. If someone's going to sue you, it's a real good idea to have copies of the videos in which he's talking about the lawsuit against you, because there might be something in that video which you could use in your defense. It's a good idea to have copies of any comments he posted. Now, this is something you're going to want to bring to a defense attorney, possibly as evidence for your lawsuit. Now, you could say, YouTube might say, well, you don't need to copy this. You could just point your lawyer in the direction of the videos. You can just give them the link. But YouTube suspended Inmendhim's accounts. In other words, YouTube removed, deep-sixed, erased, depleted, destroyed, crushed, spindled, mutilated the evidence that somebody would use in their defense when they suspended the account. Therefore, it is absolutely essential, if someone's going to sue you, if someone even threatens to sue you, it's absolutely essential to have the information that you're going to use to defend yourself. Oh, I suppose you could say, well, you could always get that later by subpoenaing YouTube. Yes, indeed you could. However, that's an expensive process. To subpoena YouTube and get it that way is very expensive. And if you want to convince a potential defense lawyer that you have a case that's worthy of defending, you need that evidence to begin with. Otherwise, you might not have a lawyer in order to subpoena the evidence you need to defend yourself. Likewise, if someone is harassing you, if someone threatens to kill you, you better damn well have that video stored. You better damn well download that video as proof, and you may need it someday. And yet, if you do that, if YouTube finds out, you might lose your account. You might be suspended. You might be deprived of your voice on YouTube forever. You may be blocked from the world's largest town hall simply because you needed to obtain evidence for your legal defense. And that, my friends, is absurd. This has been the Mass Analyst, under and in.